Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have another tutorial for you based off a chart I created in my planner for completing my yearly reading goal while simultaneously tracking each book's format. Also, I apologize if you can hear the ice storm we are currently getting in the background. Anyways, this is an example of the chart from my planner last year, so we're going to recreate that in a dot grid page on my 2022 planner. Before we get started, I did want to walk through some supplies we'll need and mention that this chart is made around the mini icon stickers from my shop. Currently, these stickers are sold out, but I do have more on the way, so they will be restocked soon. And I do still have the full-size icons in the shop if you wanted to use that instead of the mini size. You just have to adjust the sizing of the chart accordingly. Additionally, if you have other format stickers from a different shop, you may need to make adjustments as this chart is made specifically for the size stickers of the mini icons. I'm also going to be using a mechanical pencil and a ruler with an eraser, and I will link my favorite ones below. I'll also be using a black pen. This one is the Le Pen, and I prefer this one for when I'm making charts in my planner as it goes over pencil really well. Finally, I'll be using some Mildliners for adding some color to the banner, but you could use something else if you prefer. You could use colored pencils or the markers or pens or whatever your preference is. So I'm going to start by using pencil as that's my preference, but you can start with ink if you feel more comfortable with that. As with the other tutorial I did for the Pages Read tracker, we are going to begin with some counting to make the chart. So we are going to count 9 dots from the top and make a little mark there, and then we are going to count 3 dots up from the bottom and make another mark. I'm going to use my ruler and draw 2 straight lines on the marks we made all the way across the page. Then I'm going to count 3 dots over from the left and draw a vertical line connecting the top and bottom lines, and then on the right side I'm going to count 2 dots over and draw another vertical line. So you have a rectangle that looks something like this. From here, we're going to divide the rectangle into a grid that fits the stickers. So starting at the edge of the rectangle, I'm going to mark every 5th dot across, as you can see here. And then I'm going to use my ruler and draw straight vertical lines from the marks I made. You should end up with 7 columns. Next, I'm going to make the rows. So starting at the top of the rectangle, we are going to mark every 6th dot this time. And again, using my ruler, I'm going to draw horizontal lines on the marks I made. So you should end up with 8 rows. So your chart should look something like this. It should be 7 columns by 8 rows for a total of 56 spaces. If you read more than this, you can always duplicate and extend this onto the next page. I will talk about that closer to the end of this video. From here, I'm just going to add a banner. I go through instructions for a slightly different banner on my other tutorial, which I will link above. So you can watch that one if you want step-by-step instructions. I did something slightly different on this one. Instead of having both end ribbons underneath the banner, I did one side above and one side below. But overall, the concept is very similar. Instead of starting with a regular rectangle, this one has just a little bend in it. You can do whatever title you like to make it your own. After that, I'm going to ink the chart and I'm going to color in the banner. I did a little gradient from aqua to purple using my Mildliners. Next, in the space between the banner and the chart, I'm going to write what my goal is. In this case, my goal is to read 52 books in 2022. So I'm just using my Le Pen to write that in. You can add in whatever your goal is for the year. Then I'll add the title to my banner. I used my Tombow brush pen to do this. I also added some white little polka dots just to add a little bit something extra. The This next part is kind of just a personal preference. I'm going to use my pencil and number each box. The stickers will cover these numbers, but I like seeing where I am at a quick glance without having to count the boxes every time. It just helps me keep tabs on where I am and how many books I've read. If you wanted to see the number and not have it covered up, you could write it smaller in the corner of each box. Finally, the last step is to somehow highlight where your goal is. You could adjust the chart and have it be only up until your goal, but I typically read more than my yearly goal, so I like to leave some room just in case I read extra, and I like to have my goal highlighted so it's easy to reference and I have something to work towards. Last year I made a little star on the space, but this year I'm going really simple and just going to color in the space with my yellow Mildliner. As I mentioned earlier, if you read more than 56 books, you can continue the chart over onto the next page. If you started at the very top of the second page, you could add an additional 70 spaces for a total of 126 spots. Plus, you could always continue onto other dot grid pages if you need even more space than that. So there's lots of room to grow with this chart if you follow the same sizing of the original chart. Finally, the last step is the best step, adding the format stickers for each book you read. I'm going to add in the stickers based on the books I've read so far, so you can kind of see what it will look like. This chart has so much room to play around with it and make it your own, so hopefully you can have fun with it. This chart brings me back to elementary school when we used to put gold star stickers beside our name on a chart for every book we read. So it's a nice little reminder and very nostalgic for me to come back to it as an adult and have stickers for every book I read. It's a super easy chart to add on to your planner, and I love seeing it come together throughout the year. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful, and let me know if you decide to make one for yourself or if you also like to track reading by format in a different way. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.